In this video, we're going to look at a short Illustrator project that will engage and excite your students. Illustrator is not only a design tool for professionals, but it is a great tool to introduce to young people in the classroom. In this activity, we'll look at creating a simple, personalised logo. We'll talk briefly about the importance of brainstorming and planning and how important that is in creating a good piece of design. We'll look at using the type tool and turning words into objects. We'll look at creating a logo that fits with our idea, and then we'll look finally at finishing the logo design, or artworking as it's called. So with Illustrator open, I'm going to set about creating my own personalised logo. We're going to start by going up to the menu bar at the top, and we'll just go up to File and we'll click New at the top there, or Command N, and that will bring up our options panel. So we've got A4 there, and that's set to portrait, and I'm happy with that, so I'll just come down and OK that, and that brings up our new artboard. So my main hobby other than working is surfing, so I'm going to look at creating a logo that incorporates this so people can get that message from my logo. So I've got my artboard open here, and I'm going to start with my name firstly. So I'll come over to the toolbar here and select the type tool, and if I just click on that, I can click on my artboard, hold down the mouse and drag out the text box there. Then I can just type my name in there, and I can resize that. So I can either click the cursor and drag that over my name, or click 3 times to highlight the text, come over to the characters here, character panel, and just click on a font that I want to select, and I'm going to select Avant-Garde, so a font I like to use often, and there it is. I'll select bold so I get a bit more impact, and then I'm going to resize that so I can see what I'm working with. So just come back down to the characters here and click on the font size. I can change that manually here with these arrows on the left, so just click a few times, make that a bit bigger. I'll just move that there just with my selection tool. So with my name there, I'm going to now use the circle tool or ellipse tool. I'll just click, come over to my artboard, click, and if I hold down Shift and the mouse and drag that out, it'll lock that circle in proportion. So it could be an ellipse if I just click and drag, but if I click and drag and hold down Shift, that will lock that in proportion. It'll do the same with moving an object as well. So if you move an object with Shift held down, it'll lock it at 90 degrees or 45 degrees and so on. So I'm going to use a pen tool now on the left in the toolbar, just click there to create my wave shape. So I'm just going to click once, move to a new point, and click and hold down the mouse, and that allows me to create a curved shape. Now I've got 2 anchors here, so 2 angles coming off this anchor, and if I click down Alt and press, then it gets rid of that right hand angle there, and that leaves me free to move on and create the rest of my shape. So I need to make sure I'm on the anchor point itself, hold down Alt and click, and I can just carry on there drawing my shape. So I'll just add in the last point here, and I'm happy with that. That's my wave shape there. And what I need to do now is I need to look to complete this shape. I need to turn this into an object by connecting up all these points here. So I'll just click down with Alt, and then I can just click loosely here along the bottom. What that does is creates a solid object, and I'll mention why we do that, or why I've done that in a short while. I'm just going to change the color of this, so make sure that the fill color is in front there, these 2 boxes, and come over to the color panel and just select white down here, and then our wave becomes white, and I can see now what I'm working with. So I'm just going to move my name now, so come back to the selection tool and just move my name. Now I don't need to press Shift if I don't want to here, because I'm just working loosely, just I can get that in position. And what I need to do at this point, now what you'll notice is that the text has fallen behind the wave shape. That's because I created the wave shape after I created text. So what Illustrator does is it stacks up the objects as you work. So I'll go up to Object here and Arrange, and I can click Bring to Front, and there's a shortcut for that, which is Shift Command right hand bracket, and I can bring that object to the front. Now that's important as well when we come to creating solid objects, which I'll mention as we go on. So I'm just going to play with the position of the type now, get that into the position I want it to be in. Again, I don't need to hold down Shift if I don't think necessary. And I'm going to rotate the wave, so I'm just going to click on the wave, and if I come out to the corner of the wave, you'll see it will bring up this little arrow, so a little curved arrow, and that allows me just to rotate. Again, if I hold down Shift, that'll lock my movements to 45-degree increments, but I'm just going to do this loosely and get that into the position I want to. So now I've got that in position, I'm going to turn my type into an object. If you notice now, I can just move the text. If I come up over here to the toolbar on the left, I can click on that and I can edit my type. So I can highlight a letter and edit that and change it. But if I want to create a solid object out of that, I'll need to select it with the selection tool. Come up to Object and Expand, and that's fine there. Object ticked, fill ticked, okay. And that turns that into an object. Now, when it comes to creating a logo, it's important to remember that people might not have the fonts you're using at some point, and what you want to do is create a finalized logo that is made out of objects. So if you turn your type into an object, it then means it's a set logo that you can use forever. So what I need to do now is ungroup these letters so I can move them individually, and there they become standalone objects. So I'm going to hold down Shift and select more of these objects. So if I have one selected, hold down Shift, keep clicking through, and that allows me to select multiple objects, and I can just use the selection tool, clicking anywhere inside the word and moving that down into position. Now a good tip here is to use Smart Guides. If I come to View and go make sure Smart Guides is selected there in View, what that does is when I'm moving an object, it brings up these little guides here, these little lines. So when I've lined up with another object, it'll tell me when I've done that. So now we're going to look at finishing the logo. So I'm going to select my other letters there. I'm going to hold down the Shift key at this point to resize my letters. So on the corner there, holding down Shift and just drag that into the size I want it to be, and just move that around. So finishing a logo, or artworking a logo as it's known in the industry, just means that you are putting the final touches to your logo. You're making sure that all objects are created out of type, and you need to then take the wave shape that we have. So we've got the letters here just all highlighted. I'm going to move those into position, and I'm going to select the wave that we have here, and what I want to do is punch that wave out of my circle. So I'm going to come down, what I'm going to do is go onto the selection tool and click on the circle and click on the wave as well. So holding down Shift, click the wave, and then that allows me to select both objects. Come to the control panel and use Pathfinder here. So I can use one of two tools here. One is minus front, so that will punch the front object out of the back object. So I'm going to use that one now to take the wave shape out of the circle. And if you remember, I said that Illustrator works in layers, where the first layer you create sits at the bottom and all the other objects come to the front. Whatever is at the front will be the object that will punch out of the object behind it. So now I've done that and I've got my wave shape. What I'm going to do is punch all these objects together. So I use the selection tool, click outside the logo and just drag a box over there, and that highlights all the objects. And I'm going to come over to the Pathfinder panel here and click Unite. What that does is creates one solid object now. So if I move this around with the selection tool, you'll notice it's one solid object. So that is good for creating a final logo, which means that objects won't move around. And there you have a final simple logo. In this video, we looked at the importance of brainstorming and planning. How brainstorming and recording ideas in a sketchbook allows you to work loosely and achieve a good design outcome. We then created our own personalized logo. We used the type tool and turned words into objects. We created an icon or logo that fitted with our idea, and we finally artworked our chosen design.